the DBIR release.
There's a reaction article about it that we wanted to discuss.
Kelly Shortridge is a prominent personality in the Infosec space and writes these hilarious articles. Security teams that have ransomware budgets.
Definitely don't tell your CISO that 96% of incidents had no loss. You could buy a fancy Gen AI-based user analytics tool, or you could just go in your SharePoint, create a document called cyberinsurancelimits.docx, and then anytime someone opens that file, you just lock out the entire domain. That's called the canary nuke in the gold mine. Basically, the canary just explodes and blows up the whole mine. Dropbox Sign looks like the attacker compromised a service account. It had access to the back end. It was a non-human account. And so it had high privileges, and basically the attacker could dump the entire database. I feel like Dropbox, other than being thin on the details of how the account was compromised, did a pretty good job of providing, next steps and resetting all the accounts, all the OAuth.
At this point, Dropbox has been breached so many times. They probably have like a run book and playbook that's just for this all by itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Can we talk about this Judge Zero exploit? Judge Zero is this platform where they submit code and things like that and it gets evaluated. I'm like reading these exploits and it's like, Jesus, the 90s called and they want their vulnerabilities back. It's like, are we not educating developers on historical security problems? I mean, like thousands of people have been dragged through this minefield over and over again. And like every new generation of programmers, it seems, walks into that minefield completely blindly again. And, it's like, and here we are.
Millions of Docker repos found pushing malware, phishing sites.
It's not like the actual images themselves were infected, because all the ones that they were looking for don't actually have any images attached to them. The README of the Docker image page has links that contain malware.
The Docker file is just like curl bitcoinminer.sh.
That's like a neat twist on the link in the YouTube bio, right? Click here to get your
That's
stream.
exactly what it is. It's a link in the bio that takes you to a site where it's like, so you were trying to run Nginx in a Docker container, and now you're downloading a cracked copy of ExpressVPN. I don't know how you got here, but here you are. 1,400 GitLab servers are impacted by a vulnerability.
GitLab had a vulnerability in their password reset feature where you could email a password reset for someone's account to your own email, and then you could reset the password and log in.
A lot of these password reset email processes don't get the right level of integration testing. When somebody makes a modification, it's very easy to screw up and have an if-else-then end up failing open.
Arguably, from the developer's perspective, their job was to get people access to their accounts, not have it fail closed, right?
It's not developers being lazy. It's the difference in mindset of thinking, what should this thing I'm building do versus what can this thing that I built do, which is the question that hackers are asking. So unless you switch mindsets, it's really easy to overlook things like that.
LastPass has gone independent. Do they have a chance? Can they win people back over?
If you're an average person where like your techie nephew has set up LastPass for you so you don't have to remember all those stupid passwords, you're going to keep using LastPass.
I know people personally who still use the same crappy password for everything, and I tell them over and over again, you shouldn't do that. But
the worst thing people use is not the one crappy password. It's saving all their passwords in their browser. And if you don't believe why that's a bad thing, go look at my blog about Stealer malware. Criminal justice. REvil. The hacker has been sentenced to 13 years in order to pay $16 million.
Hey, good for the DOJ and whatever international partners they worked with on this, but the reality is somebody's just going to flood right in and occupy this niche in the criminal marketplace. The ransomware people have figured out a way to monetize your technical debt. Apparently, the attack surface of sudo is so large that it has to be replaced by the attack surface of an entire operating system. Systemd can handle the privilege escalation and spawning the new process in a more secure fashion than sudo can. And maybe architecturally that's correct, but just from experience, I can tell you that Systemd has grown way too fast, way too quickly for me to believe that we're not just introducing a whole shelf load of new bugs by folding all this stuff into Systemd. I mean, there's, isolation, exists for a reason.
Join us for live InfoSec news every Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Black Hills InfoSec YouTube channel.